Hello and welcome to Sweet Lavender Knits podcast. My name is Christine and I'm coming to you from outside of Toronto, Ontario in Canada. Today is January the 14th. It's a Saturday morning and I wanted to sit down and just do a little bit of an introduction for what you are going to be seeing in today's vlog. It's for the month of January. I will be doing a weekly snippets of bits of video taken on different days, different backgrounds, different hair. My hair will most probably be up for this one, but yes. And I have a little bit of knitting content, and I hope all of you will enjoy what you see. I hope you've had a really nice week over the last week. Thank you all for those that did watch my first one for the year and all your comments. I got quite a few comments. Thank you very much. Every one of those is very encouraging, and it just it's nice to know that you're still here. So if you are returning, thank you for coming back. And for those who are seeing this for the very first time, welcome. Today, I don't even have any tea with me. My son just got me some Tim Hortons. And for those that are not in Canada, this is our everyday cup of coffee kind of a place. It's not Starbucks, but it's got a decent cup of coffee. So Tim Hortons it is. And if you go into a Tim Hortons and you say, they ask you, how do you like your coffee? You just say double. What that means is 2 cream and 2 sugars. And that's a pretty standard term at Tim Hortons, but I want to say it also works in any other coffee shop in Canada. It's a double. Yeah, that's my coffee for now, and I just wanted to do a little bit of a wrap up on our trip to Niagara. I know you guys have seen me talk about it in the previous vlog, but we had a really nice time there. And on the last day, after we checked out earlier than we needed to, just because it gave us the chance to just get going through the day. So we checked out, went out for breakfast. It was like more of a diner style where we had a really nice breakfast. After that, we thought we'd just explore some places around there before we head home, because the kids were off school anyways, and we had the day, and it was a nice bright day. So we were going around to a few places, and I just Googled, strangely, the yarn stores around Niagara. Most of them were, except for like Michael's, which I don't really consider a yarn store, more like a craft store. But the proper yarn stores, most of them were closed on a Monday. I guess they don't get as much traffic, and that's probably why. I can't think of any other reason. But yeah, so they were, and this was a Monday we were heading home. So we walked into this, what was called an antique mall, but it's really one shop. But I can see the mall aspect to it because it has several levels. Once you walk in the shop, it's not just what you see there. Then you can go further down and further down, and then you've got side rooms to go into. So I think it's a conversion of a house that every room has now become a showroom for this antique shop. And I will put in some footage here. Walked into this antique mall and found some really cool things here. Just some what I think would be interesting to see. Hand embroidery. This is really nice. There's so much to see. lot of stuff, lots of you know, stuff that you would find in an antique place, I guess, like stuff that doesn't interest me, not all of it. But I found a big, huge spinning wheel, very rickety. It was nice to look at, but very rickety, and a winder, yarn winder to go with it. And I was looking there and I was like, you know what, I couldn't find anything. I was just about to walk out, and then I see something that I thought would be really handy to have, and so I picked it up. I don't think it's an antique, it's just old. It's old, but I think it will be very useful for me, and especially to have it like sitting around with some of the yarn things. So there it is. It's a old sewing box maybe, and it opens up. It's got it's a little dusty, I haven't cleaned it yet, but it opens up with some compartments on the top on both sides here. This one has smaller compartments, and then you can pull it out and you've got some storage down there as well. So the owner of the shop, when he saw me pick this up, he came over and asked me if I was interested in it. He was trying to tell me a little bit about the history of this box, and then he pointed me to another one which was smaller, and that was definitely an antique, but it was way beyond my price point, and it didn't have all of these compartments. It was more just the you know, the side like that, and that's it. That was just the top. It didn't have the extra compartments here, and it was just the storage down here. So I know it's an antique. It was nice. I am not an antique collector, but I do have some nice antique pieces that I've picked up. My husband and I picked up actually when we moved to this house. So a lovely coffee table that maybe some other time I'll show you, but it's got some nice inlay of brass, and it's really nice. But I went with this box because this seemed more practical, and also it was a lot more sturdy, and I didn't want to, you know, have Charlie chew. I'm thinking I would keep this by the little couch I have in my bedroom, and you know, hopefully it will encourage me to sit more at that couch and watch TV there rather than in bed, and just have the box near me if I need all of the little tools or, you know, stitch markers or things like that. So that's something that I picked up. And then I mentioned to him that I know it's a sewing box, but I'm thinking of using it for my knitting tools. And I could see that, like, right in the front, there were some mittens and hats that were hand knit, and they were up for sale. But right at the bottom of that shelf, I found some yarn. So of course I had to pick that up as well. So I have never knit with Let Lope, but there were these 3 skeins, and they look like full skeins, but of course, you know, it's probably leftovers from a project. Still very good yarn, and it's in a color that I would actually use, so why not? So it's Let Lope. Oh, well, this ball band's off, so I'll take it off. Here it is, Let Lope, and it's by Istex, and I don't know how to see the color. The shade is 94176686, and it is 50 gram balls. That is 100 meters or 109 yards. And so I have 3 of those. It's very rustic, rough, I think. So I'm thinking these would make a nice pair of mitts. They're definitely more than enough. So yeah, we'll see. I think a pair of colorwork mitts will be nice in this. I don't know. I mean, if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. But yeah, I picked that up and that was fun as well. So that was our trip, and then, you know, we came back home and everything. And then the next day I had to go drop off my son about, I would say, less than 10 minutes away. And I happened to find that there is a yarn store 10 minutes away from me. I am super excited about that. So I did go into the yarn store, and it's called Village Lina. And it's a very, it's a small, cozy little yarn store in the Pickering Village in that's just east of Toronto if you live in Toronto. And the lady I met in the store at the time I went in was Cheryl, super friendly. And I just looked around everything. Yeah, it's close by, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to go visit there if I ever need anything knitting wise. I mean, I've got enough yarn, that's for sure. But, you know, there's always a reason to go into a yarn store. But because I'm there, and I spent a little time chatting, and there was somebody else who came in as well. So we were chatting a bit, talking about different patterns and everything. It was really nice. And I always like to try and support local vendors and small businesses when I can. And of course, so I didn't want to walk out there without picking up a skein of yarn. And I was trying to think of projects that I would like to make. And I came home with this bright skein of yarn. It is Malabrigo sock, and the color is Frank Ochre 035. It's a superwash, 100% superwash merino yarn, and I know it's a really bright color, but I'm going to be using it in some color work, and you know, it will tone down then. But yeah, that's the happy yarn that I came home with that day. So all in all, that weekend turned out to be pretty yarn related, even though I didn't think it would be. So that is that's what I have for you. And of course, you can see snippets of what I did record during the week, and I will meet you on the other side. Hi, good morning. Today is Wednesday, January the 11th, and it is a very gloomy day outside. Excuse my voice. It's about 8:30 in the morning. I am just getting ready to log into work. I'm working from home today, and I like that. It's nice to go into work as well and get to be a little bit, you know, out of the house and just get dressed up for work and go. But at the end of the day, I'm just so tired when I have to commute. But I'm working from home today. It is very, very gloomy outside. It is so gloomy, so sad looking that I had to turn on my room lights overhead, and so the background is all yellow. I have a shawl on because I was just feeling like I have a scratchy throat. So it might be the after effects of standing by the falls. And it was super cold, like everything was iced up. I couldn't take footage like I thought I would like to, and the kids were not very patient at standing around in the cold, so I didn't want to prolong it too much. And when we were out and about, we actually were walking in the night with all the lights. They had a light festival on, so things lit up and exhibits all lit up. It was beautiful, but they didn't want to be in any videos. They didn't want to be in any pictures. They wanted to keep walking. So I didn't have any of that footage in there for the last one. But yeah, this is a really nice shawl. It's, I would say, medium, not too big, but totally, you know, enough. And this is a pattern by Kay of the Bakery Bears, and I believe it's called the Neapolitan shawl. I'll find the pattern name and put it up on the screen. I think that is what it is. And so I used the colors of Neapolitan ice cream, and I think Kay did too. I can't remember, but this is really nice yarn. It's one of my first projects when I started the podcast, so you would have seen it then. And I just wear it like a kerchief, and it's nice and cozy. And yeah, the yarn is really nice. I know there's some Manos de Uruguay, and there's Malabrigo, and I can't remember what the third one was, but yeah, it's just 3 different brands, but all nice yarn. So yeah, that is that. And I just wanted to share something with you. I treated myself to a little Christmas gift, and I bought a pattern that I have just been, you know, I'm so late to this party, but it's the ranunculus, and everyone has heard about it. Everyone's knitted a few times maybe, but I finally picked up the pattern. I kept mulling it over, thinking, you know, is it really worth the hype? But it seems like so many have enjoyed the pattern. It's got to be one of those you have in your toolbox. Is a toolbox in your pattern library for sure. And so I usually don't print out my patterns. I just look at it on my device and make notes there. But something happened last week, and it scared the life out of me, that I did an update on my phone and everything just crashed. I couldn't access anything. I couldn't access iCloud. I couldn't access my phone to make phone calls, and it was midway while I was working. Then I got kicked out of my VPN, and I couldn't access my VPN. I didn't have any phone numbers, because everything gets so reliable of having things on your phone. The only number I know off heart is my parents. I don't even know my kids' numbers, so I made it a note to sit down and write down numbers after that, because that was just a little too scary. It took us about a few hours to get everything back on. And then sadly, what had happened is all the notes that I'd made on previous patterns, if it was older and I'd put it on, you know, uploaded it into iCloud, then that was fine. But anything I had on my phone after, like my LoveNote, which I haven't shared with you guys. Okay, so that's probably something I will try and share later. I lost all my notes. So I'm going back to the traditional method of using paper and pen and putting notes on there. And I don't know about the ranunculus yet, but as in I haven't read the whole pattern to know how much I have to, you know, what modifications I want to make. But usually with the patterns, because I am not your mannequin size, so I always have to make modifications on my sweaters to fit that. And that's why I end up writing notes for my size onto the pattern, just so I know what I've knit before. And I'm sure you do that as well. Yes, that is something that I'm looking forward to, is preparing for the ranunculus. I won't say casting on, it's going to be a while before I do that, but preparing for the ranunculus. And so before I begin work, I have in my project bag my shawl. I'm going to continue with that. And so I will leave you with that this morning. I recorded this segment and then went about making breakfast and realized I did not even talk about what I'm wearing. So I am wearing the LoveNote by Tin Can Knits, and I have to say this was the first project that was off my needles back in October of 2022, just the past fall, and it was just in time for I'm an October baby, so for my birthday, and so it was a birthday present to myself. I had most of it knit up. Actually, I had it, the yoke was knit up and I was almost done with the body, and so all I had to do was the sleeves. And for anyone who has knit the LoveNote, you would know how fast you can knit it up. It's on 6mm needles. That was a new experience for me. I can't say I enjoyed it too much because I'm not used to knitting with the bigger needles, but I loved how quick it was working up. And it was just that, a little bit of an incentive to get something completed. And yeah, so it was sitting in a project bag for a while now, for over a year, because I started it in the summer of I think it was June of 2021, and yes, with everything that happened, it just got put aside, and it was nice to pick it up and finish it. So this is the LoveNote. I did the puffy sleeves on it, which is really, if you have not knit this pattern, I will say that the yoke is a little bit, I find the lace a little bit drawn out, so today I'm wearing it with a dress underneath. And let me just stand up, and I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to see. So if I stand up, there it is. It's a little flared out, but I'm wearing it with a dress today, and you can tell that the lace pattern really pops or shows well when you have a dark background underneath. And I'm not fond of the edging, but I don't know if I did do the bind off like the pattern asked for, because I know I ripped it out and did it twice. The first time it came out just a little too tight, so I used another bind off. That's why I get this flared effect, but it also means that it gets it a little bit more drapey and loose rather than cinched up. And you got the high-low hem as far as that's with the pattern. The modification that I did for this pattern was the length. The pattern is for a very cropped jumper, but I extended it just a little bit, but not too long. Like I usually like to come down a little longer, but with this one I was I did want to kind of finish it also, and I thought it would be nice to wear it with dresses, and I don't see myself wearing it without something a little bit longer underneath, even if I was to wear it with pants. I like the puff sleeves. However, I've seen others do it with a fuller sleeve, a longer sleeve all the way down to the wrist. I opted for just under the elbow here, and it gives you a really nice fall look. I think it was what I was going for, and it was great. So this is my LoveNote, and I can tell you that this is one pattern that sadly I lost all of my information as far as my numbers for what I knit, but that'll give me maybe a reason to knit it again. And oh yes, that reminds me, I did do one more modification. I believe with the lace pattern I switched sizes, so I started the neck the top part of it, I started as small. The LoveNote has a lot of ease on the sides. I went for something a little bit more fitting, but yet with some ease. And then I did only enough repeats of the lace just so that I could get the armhole right. So my sleeves are not extremely puffy. This is actually my arm because I do have larger upper arms, but I can tell you this pattern is works well for me, and so because of that I may knit it again and just do something different for the yoke, but the fit of it is definitely something that I liked. So that's the LoveNote by Tin Can Knits. So that's what I've been up to the past week. I hope you enjoyed watching this vlog, and for those of you that have joined for the first time, I am just doing this for January on a weekly basis, and I'll see how it goes really, because this is easier for me to record, and some of you have said that you like this format, so we'll see how it goes. But yes, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead of you, and for those that are watching this while crafting, knitting, crocheting, I can imagine all the different things you're making. I hope you enjoy. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you'll come back for the next one. Till then, bye-bye.